Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pod Ones podcast. I am your host, Luke, with my co-host, Chase Forward into the Black.
Hi, Luke. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Ready to talk some Rings of Power?
I'm so ready to talk about Rings of Power.
Oh.
I'm a fan of Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings. I'm not a Tolkien encyclopedia, but I adored Rings of Power when it came out. Was it last year or the year before?
2 years.
2 years. Wow.
2022.
That's
I know.
wild.
It's
That's
crazy.
wild. It feels like last year. I had a great time. I'm excited. I'm very excited for the new season. Like very excited to see it.
And we have some hard-hitting guests. You might know him from being the obscure Lord of the Rings guy. But that's not who I'm going to bring in. We're going to bring in a new face. You might know her from TikTok. She's into spiders. She's amazing. She's a friend of ours. I'm going to screw up the name, so I'm just going to call her Charlotte. Charlotte, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, good. It's okay if not everybody does the pronunciation right. It's Kavatica.
Kavatica.
Like the background there is that the protagonist of Charlotte's Web is Charlotte A. Kavatica,
okay,
which
right.
is a callback to Arrhenius cavaticus, which is a type of barn spider. So sometimes I'm into spiders. Some might say the spiders are into me, depending on who you ask.
Like Ungoliant.
Charlotte, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
How did you feel about Sexy Shelob in that one video game?
I didn't play that one video game, so I didn't.
You're missing out.
I'm going to say I feel positive. I don't know.
They turned that scary spider into a sexy lady.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
I know. Just wait.
It was great.
This is how we're going to start this. Dawn's going to explain exactly what happens in that game. By the way, Don Marshall is here. You know him. He is contractually obligated to be here because if you remember from his episode a while back, I kind of held him down and said you have to come on when the new Rings of Power trailer comes, and here he is. It's Don. Hi, Don.
Hi, everybody.
Oh my God, it's Lin-Manuel Miranda. What? Oh my
Please.
God,
oh, man.
Please, he's my grandmother. Anyway,
how are you, Don?
I'm doing well, and despite your jokes, I am not actually contractually obligated to be here. It's an honor to be back at the 59th most popular Star Wars podcast hosted by a white man. So, thank you so much for having me.
Did you miss the memo? We're all, apparently all the good ones are white. I don't get it. I just don't understand why people want to listen to me.
Clip that. Luke saying all the good ones are white.
Joking.
All right, I'm gonna go talk to Darth Chaco and Mesa Windu real quick.
What's happening?
I told you this is how chaotic it gets, Charlotte. You signed up for this.
I did.
No, she didn't. You didn't tell her what we were gonna do here.
Okay, so
I had a feeling.
So here's here's why I want Charlotte here, because it all goes back to the season finale. We were in the Twitter space. Charlotte goes, "Oh, Don, you must hate women because he kept muting you." And then he accidentally kicked you.
Accidentally.
You came back and goes, oh, you are dead to me. You are dead to me. So I was like, you know what? I want Charlotte on. What a better opportunity than with Don, you know?
I do have I think, some bona fides in this space. I am on Don's podcast. I play Tariel on his podcast.
You do remember the name of it, though, right?
Yes, The Unpredicted Party.
Thank you. Sorry, we just got to get the branding in there.
Sorry. I play Tariel on The Unpredicted Party. I came in at episode 18. I was supposed to have like a 2 or 3 episode guest arc. And what did we just finish on? Episode 55 or 56?
Episode 56 just aired, but as Luke mentioned, we are contractually obligating you to be there under threat of something vague and mysterious. I'm working on the supercut of all of the jokes of me actually taking my players hostage. It's 5 minutes long, so the odds are not great for my arrest warrant to be delivered anytime soon, but you know, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but we have this dynamic where Don and I pretend to hate each other, and the truth it's not farther from the truth. Like Don's great. I love Don. He mutes
That
me
being
a lot.
said, I will continue to mute you and kick you out of. Actually, Luke, can I grab admin?
No.
Admin just for like
No.
2 minutes. I just
I
got
You
don't even
already
have
have
admin,
too
Don.
much power. For once,
Oh.
Don, be a plebeian with the rest of us.
Alright,
You will not
alright.
silence me this time. Your
Oh.
misogyny has no sway here.
There's the clip. There's the clip. Clip that.
Don't you start, because you've got me here as the token woman, the Tolkien woman, you might say. So
Damn it.
you're on thin ice too.
Hey,
Tree
hey,
shirts.
Luke, this is Charlotte's podcast now. I think
Yeah, it
legally-
is. She owns us.
Hi
we
everyone,
are-
welcome
is-
to the Podwans podcast with your host, Charlotte Moore Lambert.
She sounds
The
better than me
prequels.
anyway, so it's like, who cares at this point? What am I even doing here? What? It's over. It's gone. We're 6 minutes in and she owns the podcast. Like, who knew that Charlotte was going to be the one that brought me down?
I did.
Actually, honestly,
Don
I
knew.
could have called that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, to be honest.
So on this episode of Podwans, we will eventually be discussing the Rings of Power.
I got all night. It's a margarita.
All right.
Damn.
That Charlotte, you teed it up. As we are recording this, we got some big news about a certain Tom Dilly Dom Bomb fuckhead.
Dominic
Not a big
Monaghan?
fan of him. Not a big fan of him.
Tom
Wow.
Waits.
What?
Tom DeLonge is in Rings of Power? What?
Tom Petty? He's
I would
back?
pay good
Miss
money
that
to
guy.
see Tom DeLonge.
All right. So Tom
wait.
Bombadil.
Hang on, I thought of a
Alright.
really funny thing you can post to TikTok before this.
Oh no. Oh no. Get it out.
I'm just going to post you laughing at yourself on TikTok. That's what you're getting.
And then the shot of Charlotte going, no.
Okay. And then here's the joke. You cut to the joke now.
If it ever happens.
Make it funny, Don. Don't
Mr.
let us down.
Frodo. Shh, don't interrupt me. Mr. Frodo, where are you?
She's like, no, get me the fuck out of here. Why did I agree to do this? All
Thank you
right.
so much for
Anyway,
having me. I'm gonna go.
It was nice meeting you.
This is great. Bye, guys.
Anyway, so we got high res pictures of Tom Bombadil talking to Gandalf, who we think is Gandalf.
Sexy
Uh,
Gandalf.
Yeah,
As I call
is
him.
he's very attractive. Very attractive. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
All right. So basically, this episode is us going to be talking about Tom Bombadil for about an hour and a half. I guarantee it. And also our predictions for season 2, because that's kind of the whole reason we're here. Don, obviously, lore guy. Charlotte almost is as knowledgeable.
I know,
maybe
I
If
know
not
more.
some
more,
lore.
she's corrected me on a few things on the podcast.
So
full
I'm
disclosure.
excited to hear what you guys want to hear. Like, what is so like when you saw that picture? What was your first thought that went into your head?
Neat.
Yeah, kind of same. It was somewhere between like, oh, and oh, like how are they gonna fit that? How does this fit in? I thought he looked great. I know a lot of people are mad that his boots aren't more yellow. They were gonna be mad no matter what. All right.
Agreed.
If you'd made
Yeah.
him look like a fucking Prismacolor cartoon, they would have found some reason not to like it. They've made it fit in with the aesthetic of the show, and words mean different things in different contexts. So shut the fuck up. I thought he looked great. I thought he looked like a giant gnome man,
Which is what he's supposed to look like, right?
which is what he's supposed to look like. Like, I got the Tom Bombadil vibes. My only question is where's Goldberry? She's
Yeah.
the one I want to see.
Yeah. Now everybody's saying like, why the fuck did he leave why did he leave? But now I think it's gonna be an origin story of like how he gets to Goldberry.
Maybe. Don, do you want to weigh in there?
I do. Unfortunately, it might be a 5-minute rant, so I need Charlotte to just tell me to STFU if at any point it gets to be too much.
Do I need to go get some whiskey for this?
You
Oh.
always need whiskey when you're with me, but that's up to you.
Oh.
right
Too
now.
late now.
Um,
Go for it.
The boots are yellow, and people are complaining about the boots. I am thrilled that people are complaining about the boots. This is so exciting. Also, that might be Gandalf's hat.
Oh,
Because I look at this guy's hat and I go, the only reference I have to compare that to is the Soviet era live stage play adaptation that
that's
aired in
right.
the 80s.
That's
And
right.
let me tell you, that man's bright yellow bowler hat looks nothing like this. Not that they should take inspiration from it, but if you're looking for a nod to Gandalf's hat, that's a Gandalf
really
hat to me.
interesting.
So I have a feeling that this is how it's going to go, right?
All right.
IMDb has him listed as on one episode and one episode only. I think that's brilliant.
Agreed.
You take Tom Bombadil, you throw a couple of characters at him, probably the Stranger, probably Nori, probably maybe another Hobbit or another side character. He sings a song, does some magic, doesn't explain, kisses his wife off in the distance, and leaves. And we never see him again.
As it should be.
And I would be so fucking happy about that, because if he's in more than like one episode, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably go insane.
Yeah, he's a character who's supposed to come and go without explanation. He does all sorts of things that defies explanation in the rules of the universe he inhabits. He is the embodiment of Middle Earth. Like every other law just sort of revolves around him. So I think that works as a story device. Have him enter, serve the plot, and go. It's what he does in the books.
That is how most Tolkien characters work, though. Look at The Hobbit. You've got, here's these three trolls. Oh, are they going to be part of the? Nope, they're gone. Here's Thranduil. Oh, is he? Nope, gone already. Lake Town, the mayor. Oh, nope, gone already. Tom Bombadil, Galadriel. Everybody is there, with the exception of Theoden, which is what makes Rohan so important in the long run, because he's literally been setting up for several books and eras now. For like, hey, you meet these people in your life. They help you, or in Tom's case, make things way more confusing and make my job so much harder. But then they leave. It's chapters of your life. That's the whole Tolkien sort of arc of love.
Does Elrond even have a name in The Hobbit? I don't think he does. Isn't he just the king of Lorien? Not Lorien, of Rivendell.
Is Elrond named in The Hobbit?
I didn't think he was, because I thought the only one that was Thranduil, correct?
Elrond has a limited role in The Hobbit. He shows the dwarves how to read a map.
It's not super important. But just to your point, like if I can't even remember, he's not a significant character. I mean, Tolkien was still figuring it out, basically.
He was figuring it out even after he published the books, changing a lot. Like that was the one thing that season 1 sort of like of Rings of Power got me so caught up on, is like Galadriel's got 4 origin stories.
Like, which one do you want? I mean, if I quibble with anything about the Rings of Power, it is centering it on Galadriel, because she is the one who has the most variable story with the most interpretation. Like, how did she meet Celeborn? Flip a coin.
Flip a
roll a d4. Like, what's his
roll
deal?
a d4. Yeah. It's here's my thought, right? And you can clip this, you can do whatever you want. I am convinced that they are going to do some sort of like Celeborn has been here the whole time, or like in disguise, or like shape. Maybe Sauron is actually maybe Celeborn's actually Sauron. No, sorry, other way around. Maybe Sauron is actually Celeborn. Any new cast member I'm immediately suspicious of. So like if Celeborn gets introduced, that's like Tom Bombadil. The only reason I believe this is Tom Bombadil is because they confirmed it in the thing and they didn't give him like another name. Like that is the only reason I trust that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and they've showed us Anatar. Like we know he is what he is. I mean, maybe there are some other bits in the show where he's shapeshifting. We'll have to find out. But I feel like of all of the entities on Earth that Sauron would not attempt to emulate, it would be Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
Because Tom Bombadil, like anyone who would scare the shit out of him, I think it would be Tom, to whom the power of the ring simply does not apply.
Yeah. It's like the rule. He is the embodiment of the rules do not apply to me. And I think there is a certain level of respect that I gained for Rings of Power, because I think they're, at the very least, the showrunners strike me as people who are at least aware that if they mess up Tom Bombadil, that's terrible. But also, that means they have kind of a blank canvas to do whatever they want. And that gives me pause. But, you know, let's see what happens. It could be good. Let's see.
I would like to hear from everybody here what makes Tom Bombadil a compelling character to you. Why are we discussing him so much?
You don't want that answer from me.
I do. That's why I've asked.
Oh my God. I think, see, here's the problem. Here's the problem, right? I look at Tom Bombadil, I listen to the audiobook when I'm driving, and I hear this guy sing his silly little songs and everything, and that's great. Oh, if you like that, awesome. I love that for you. But like for me, and this is, you also have to remember, my first introduction to Tolkien was the PJ films. So like listening and reading the books afterwards is a culture shock, to be honest with you. Because it's like, okay, we get like in Fellowship, we're only in the Shire for maybe 25 minutes. We spend 9 chapters, almost 9 chapters in the Shire alone in Fellowship, which
basically half the book. Yeah.
To me, that's why Fellowship isn't my favorite movie, and nor is it my favorite book, which to most Tolkien fans I would be stoned to death for. But whatever.
I don't know that that's true. A lot of people love Fellowship. That's
I don't think a lot of Tolkien fans stone people either.
I don't know.
Not really. We're very weak. We don't throw rocks very hard.
Yeah, the glass houses that we build for each other are very fickle. We can't be. Yeah, we're a culture of love and respect.
And honestly, we throw stones so weakly it would probably just ping off the glass and just hit us in the face. You know,
it's more like one of those like teenage boys throwing it at the girl's window and just like come out, sneak out.
It wouldn't be good. So no,
Rachel,
we don't.
Come answer the door. Come on.
And are they holding a boombox that's playing Tom Bombadil's songs?
They've actually hired the local bard to serenade next to him.
Okay.
Yes.
The modern equivalent.
But like my thing is, it's like I have a love-hate related. Like here's my thing. So like I saw that, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in orientation for my new job, and I'm just thinking, what the fuck? Just like what? We're going this way, and instantly in my head I go, Luke, shut up. Don't be that person. Don't go online and be outraged, because here's what's probably going. Now that I know that it's only 1 episode, awesome. He's a cameo. He's a guy that's going to show up and basically be like, hey, stranger, I kind of know who you are, but I'm not going to give you anything, and I'm going to fuck off. That's exactly what's going to happen. And
That's
I'm
how
okay
it
with
should
that.
happen.
I'm now okay with that, as long as like my whole thing, and I had talked about this on New Betta's live. I was like, my thing is that I'm open to seeing how he is. If he's like he is in the book, and it was gonna be like more than an episode, I was gonna be a little bit worried, because you set up this tone in the first season, right? And then you bring in, like, they have tone shifts all the time, like Poppy singing, but like not to the extreme of having Tom Bombadil doing silly little rhymes and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I have some speculations here. I would like to hear Dawn's first on how you think they are going to present and use Tom Bombadil.
My thoughts on Tom Bombadil are many, but I vehemently disagreed for a very long time that Tom Bombadil was a useful character. I didn't like Tom Bombadil. I thought so I was told the stories, like orally. My mother literally read it chapter by chapter herself at night, and then the next morning at the breakfast table, she would tell my sister and I what happened in that chapter. And so that's how I first got exposed to Tolkien.
Adorable.
What I didn't find out until like late high school, college, when I first read it, is that she skipped a lot of the boring stuff. So like, I went right from the Shire to Bilbo's birthday party to, oh, there's this magical ring, immediately to meeting Aragorn and the Nazgul and the stuff. And like, maybe it's because I've blocked it out because it was that boring, but for the life of me, I don't remember a world where Tom Bombadil existed before I was like 19. So I have a very interesting relationship with Tom Bombadil in that he's kind of pointless, except for everything that's not like the main destruction of the ring. So like the sword that Merry gets is one given to him by Tom Bombadil that is able to pierce the Witch King and defeat him. The ponies that they get are like really important to getting them to see Aragorn. Like the plot doesn't necessarily happen without Tom Bombadil. Unfortunately, he's such an enigma in left field that you're like, hang on, surely, John, there was a more convenient way to give them some swords and horses, please. And he, by God, he kept Tom Bombadil in there despite my telling him not to.
So, real quick, Jace, being obviously you have like minimal knowledge of Lord of the Rings. Like, what have you, like, what is your biggest question about like the adaptation to like
I don't have questions really as far as Rings of Power is concerned. Like, my knowledge of Lord of the Rings is I was introduced by the Ralph Bakshi animations.
Mm-hmm.
That was my introduction to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Like, my dad showed me those. He had like cable TV recordings on VHS of those.
Oh, that's crazy.
That he showed me. And then I ended up reading The Hobbit in school, which led me to read, someone got me Fellowship for like a birthday or Christmas or something like that. And I read that, and then the Peter Jackson movies came out.
Nice.
And so I didn't do my homework and never actually read Two Towers, Return of the King, or Silmarillion.
You didn't miss much, honestly.
I feel like I did.
I mean, and that's fine, because in terms of your representation here, there are going to be a lot of people listening to this who are in the same boat, and they are no less fans than anybody who's read.
Yeah. And like Luke's been playing the games. I played some of the games that were, I mean, I played like some of the old like point and click adventure games that were, like, because I remember like, this was probably, I was way too young to understand what was going on, but we had those like floppy disks that you pop it in, and it was just the little
back when the floppy disks were actually floppy still.
So like, I always had this like Tolkien presence, and I attribute Tolkien to being the reason I never got into Harry Potter. I was like probably there was a fantasy universe I was way more interested in. That I don't know, like, even like, I think Sorcerer's Stone came out when I was like in middle school. And so I was like, I liked the more grown up Lord of the Rings more than I liked the kiddie Harry Potter.
That was the Dragon Riders of Pern for me, because Harry Potter came out when I was a freshman in high school, and it was on my brother's summer reading list. He was like a year behind me, and I was like, that's kid stuff. And then I went back to like pretending to be a Dragon Rider. I already had my thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't need that. And I'm glad that I've seen the movies, but never read the books. I'm glad I've never read the books, because that meant Joanne never got any of my fucking money.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Stick it to her.
But yeah, like my limited knowledge, and like I knew who Tom Bombadil was from reading Fellowship, and I've always attributed Tom Bombadil to the Cantina Band in Star Wars.
Yes. That's hilarious.
I'm done.
You guys can't see it right now. My English degree is in flames. It has burst into spontaneously combusted.
Tom Bombadil has this like in a story that's already very whimsical, right? He has this extra flamboyant, whimsical, in case you thought Lord of the Rings wasn't musical enough, here's Tom fucking Bombadil. But like, he's like, Don, you brought up a good point that he's not actually that insignificant, but overall feels very insignificant. It's just this weird guy they ran into, and he sang them songs, and then we never saw him again. The Cantina band was playing way too loudly when Obi-Wan Luke met Han, and it all got stuck in our heads. Like we all hear do 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 do, and now we still hear Tom Bombadil, Tom Bombadillo. And so
keep going.
When
keep going,
we love the Cantina band, and I think that's what people have attached to Tom Bombadil. Is he super significant? No. Is he super fun and way the fuck out of context of the whole story? Yes, and we love it. So that's why. And look, maybe the one episode of Rings of Power will be like the musical Buffy episode. Where it's just sing song, like talking song the whole episode. I'd be so down for that.
I can't breathe.
I'm sorry.
No, this is good information for me to have. I'm not mad about any of what you've said. I regret only that every single one of you has completely missed the point of Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, yes,
I'm fine with that.
yes, yes.
Chase, my friend. That is the stupidest, but best, and most accurate way to describe Tom Bombadil I've ever heard. When people ask me from now on, I will respond with, he's like the Cantina band.
No.
Luke,
God,
you put this on TikTok, so people hold me to my word.
Except I think I'm about to change all of your lives.
Oh,
I'm
here
ready for
we
it.
go.
Who's ready for a paradigm shift?
Bring it.
And this is fully my analysis.
Okay.
Like you all, I mean, like many people, I read The Hobbit when I was like 10 years old.
Mhm.
I was not ready for it. I didn't understand a lot of what I was reading. I thought at the time the language was very dry. I had to do it for like summer reading before like 5th or 6th grade. And then I didn't read The Lord of the Rings until after I saw The Fellowship of the Ring, which was in my freshman year of college.
Nerd.
And was like in love with the movie and immediately went and read the books. Didn't read the Silmarillion until the pandemic. I had tried many times. I couldn't make it take until I listened to the audiobook.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the audiobook just worked. This was before the Andy Serkis audiobook. It was the Martin Shaw audiobook. Martin Shaw. And he's just beautiful. He's a beautiful British.
He has
man.
that
Like,
resonance.
He's got gravitas.
He has the Morpheus voice, if you know what I mean by
Yes,
the level
Morpheus
of bass that just hits different. It's like,
This is fully somebody who is reading the Bible to you,
yes.
and you were like, I think this might be the word of the Lord, actually.
Thanks be to John.
Thanks be to John.
Anyway,
so I didn't become an expert, even approaching an expert on any of this until the last few years. But retroactively, as I've reread The Hobbit and gotten more into the lore and the backstory, and also I think gotten older and just gotten different life perspectives in general and what kind of stories are interesting to me, I think I understand why Tom is there and what he's supposed to represent. And I think my respect for him and my understanding of his necessity to the allegory of the story is so important.
Yeah.
Tom is an entity who is out of place in time. He doesn't belong to Middle Earth, but he is of Middle Earth. He defies it, but it is of him. They were created at the same time. It is said in some of the lore that Tom Bombadil precedes every other entity on Middle. The Valar don't know whence he came. The Maya don't know whence he came. He was made of and with it, right? And when he shows up in The Hobbit, that jovialness and the musicality and all of that sort of childlike wonder of him, I read it as an embodiment of the joy of Middle Earth at its creation. A younger time, a happier Middle Earth as it was supposed to be. And none of the events of the world preceding them have touched or affected him at all. It's why he's able to handle the ring and not be tempted by it. He is as childlike, if not more childlike, than the hobbits themselves. And that is why Goldberry loves him. Like, Goldberry, if she's supposed to be this, like, embodiment of womanliness and sunshine and maternity, and she's sort of this like naiad type of creature, why is she attracted to this like bumbling old man spirit who's ridiculous in so many ways? He's safe, he's love, he's beauty, he is joy.
He's Roger Rabbit.
Oh my
He's
god.
Roger Rabbit.
He is.
And
That's hilarious. That's so true.
And we love
That's
Roger
perfect.
Rabbit.
Yeah,
And we
that's
need
perfect.
Rabbit, even though he's ridiculous and seems to serve no purpose other than like getting into scrapes that other people need to get him back out of. He defies the laws of physics, and so does Tom Bombadil. And when he appears to the hobbits, it is in a dire moment for them. He offers them respite. He offers them rest. He offers them rejuvenation. He offers them perspective. And yes, he offers them physical tools that then become some of the most powerful things that they use on Middle Earth. It is through his access that Merry's able to co-opt or like defeat the Witch King. Only the power of pure joy could do that. Only a thing that has not been touched by evil could do that. So in so many ways, he is he's the point of Middle Earth. He's the pure strain of the song.
And that's why we kept her on the podcast.
Like, okay, so now that you have said Tom Bombadil and the Goldenberry like relationship, that's literally just me and my partner. I feel like I'm just this big old dipshit that just speaks out loud, and she doesn't.
Sings nonsense, like
yes, she's like, "Oh, you're goofy. I guess I'll spend the rest of my life with you."
We need goofy. We need nonsense. We need joy. Like, think of the happiest, dumbest, the most like trending thing on TikTok in the last couple of weeks has been the stupid German tongue twister about like a pie making lady. Like it's silly, but we need it.
Yeah.
In the midst of horror, we need the ridiculous.
No. Absolutely.
So that's the role he serves for me. I'm happy to see him. And I think in the context of the show, it is likely because they've darkened him up. Thematically, I feel like Tom is going to be an essential stepping stone. He's not going to give the stranger, Gandalf, he's not going to give him nothing. I think his purpose is to help Gandalf find his soul.
Yeah.
And find what is important about Middle Earth. Because of the wizards, Gandalf is the lightest. He's the most jovial. He's also the most grounded and the one who understands Middle Earth the best, while also being separate from it. Like Radagast loves Middle Earth and the things of Middle Earth too much, which is why he fails as a wizard. He falls in love with it and doesn't leave. Gandalf manages to fall in love with it, but still fight for it and be separate enough from it that he can see the whole picture and protect it, which is also what Tom Bombadil does. I think he has to have that interaction with him.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, though. You are straight up absolutely right.
That is my prediction.
No, that makes a whole lot of sense because, like, he was there even from the beginning. So he is literally there to kind of, like, if you look at it from a show standpoint, he's supposed to be somewhat of the guru from Avatar: The Last Airbender, teaching Aang, like, here's the Avatar state, here's how you kind of get your power, and then he fucks off. So it's like that's even
Oh
you can't kill him. You cannot kill him.
It's like it's so perfect. Like, here's the thing. Like, they were like Bria Bird. She was like, guaranteed. I'm putting money that Luke ends up changing his tune about Tom Bombadil. And I said, maybe dreams can come true.
Maybe, right?
Dreams can come true. Not only in Disney, but in my hate of Tom Bombadil. By the way, if you aren't following her on all social media, you need to. She's amazing. Her analysis of Tolkien is fantastic. She gets so much hate. I don't understand it. She's a fantastic person. But we're going to move on from Tommy.
I just hope I've changed everyone's lives here today.
You have. You changed my life when you just showed up and then bashed Dawn on that Twitter space. And I was like, I need that energy in my life. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But anyway, let's get to the brass tacks here. What are our kind of wish lists for season 2? Charlotte.
No, I'm going to throw this one to Dawn first, actually.
I might need a minute. Thank you. For the record, I was hoping for Tom Bombadil to be there. I was hoping for... Here's the thing, right?
God, now we got to go back to him. We just spent 37 minutes talking about him.
Here's the thing. They've addressed most of my issues.
Oh, that's fair.
And that gives me hope, but of course, as Aragorn says, there is always hope, but also we live in 2024, late to
Yeah.
collapsing stage capitalism. Hope is not very, applicable in a lot of situations surrounding capitalism. So it is nice to see them taking a thing that I like and, figuring it out as they go in a positive way. More of the characters are teamed up together, so we don't have a bazillion storylines. It's a more cohesive plot line. We're getting Anatar, forehead or not, I don't care. The wig looks fine.
I think it
Everybody
looks
calm
fine.
down. You all thought Matt Smith looked really hot in that white lace front. Stop. Let's let it
Also,
breathe.
the wig doesn't look any better or worse than like Celeborn or
Or
Elrond.
from the
Like
original
they all have
trilogy,
a
yeah.
lot of forehead
Hang on.
happening. Also, as a 5-head, like I object.
First of all, that is Robert Arameo's natural hair.
No.
And-
In the movies.
Yeah, in the movies.
Oh, Peter
Hugo's-
Jackson. I
yeah.
thought you were throwing
Yeah,
shade at Robert
Hugo's.
No.
Arameo, and I gotta
Robert
defend my dude.
Arameo's like
The
perfect
Elrond.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Everyone gave him grief for having short hair. Young Elrond is hot. Old Elrond, you all thought was hot, right? They're both different fonts of the same words.
Also, like, do people
Yes.
expect an immortal being to have the same haircut for 10,000 years? Wouldn't
Here's
you
the thing,
because they're
Tolkien did.
Because they're
Tolkien.
unoriginal. They're unoriginal.
Tolkien said that, and so
Did
it
he?
well, here's the thing. Elves have long hair is a blanket statement.
Yes.
And when you're having online discourse in the year of our Lord Taylor Swift or Lizzo or Beyonce or whatever cultural
These are all
icons,
billionaires. These are none of these people are our Lord. Carry on.
fine. In the year of our Lord, me, I think personally,
Wow,
I'll allow it.
That's
if who solipsism is a real thing, people, and I have only myself to blame. Google what that is if you don't understand that reference. Here's the
that's
thing.
a big word
We
for me.
have
I'm
to-
not gonna lie. I'm from the Midwest. You have to remember big words. They go way over my head. Agreed.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
the only-
Luke, you want another TikTok
Oh,
clip real quick?
Here we go.
I think as someone who works mostly for a living discussing one very specific niche in pop culture, y'all, you take the Lord of the Rings too seriously. I'm tired and can't do it anymore. If you don't like the show, stop watching.
Here's the other, like, this is the thing that I always fall back on. And Don, this point is the point at which you and I became acquainted, I think 2 years ago, was when I made this TikTok and we were talking about like people taking exception to bits of lore that they're blowing way out of proportion. Tolkien's books never said, Tolkien's letters never said. You know what else Tolkien never said? That elves have pointy ears.
The Rings of Power in general is the equivalent of people cherry picking things from the Bible to justify their homophobia and racism and transphobia.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
It's yeah, like there are so many references that you can point to in Tolkien that say XYZ. This is a TV show. Matthew, Barry, Jack Black, and Brian Blessed probably didn't want to deal with the bullshit that all of these people who are writing horrible things about these actors, they don't want to deal with that. Can you imagine if Jack Black took this role and everybody like Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk were like, well, I really think that Jack Black, one of those woke Hollywood elitists, just... Everyone take a deep breath.
Here's the thing. Stories don't belong to you.
Agreed.
And The Lord of the Rings is the classic example of what is called the monomyth, which is a particular kind of story that is... You have to go... There are a lot of... It's sort of like the model story. If you look at the cycle of events that lead to like the ideal classic tale of adventure and self-discovery, there's like these charted points along the way. So there's like the call to adventure, There's the rejection of the call. There's meeting an old or wise person along the way who imparts knowledge that the main character didn't have before. There are all these little things where you can plug in all sorts of stories. Harry Potter is another classic example of the monomyth, where like there's a lonely character who has to leave the status quo, and by the time they've checked all the boxes along the way and returned to their starting point, they are not the same person they were when they left. And Tolkien is the example of that. And a whole part of the reason people are attracted to monomyth type stories is because they are universally fulfilling. They satisfy a lot of things in us, which means they are also endlessly mutable. They can do whatever you want them to do. You can plug all kinds of characters and all kinds of things. They're stories for all times. And when you take that format and you plug it into 2024, you can still make it do a whole lot without changing the soul of the story.
How do I want to phrase this? In the most straight white man presenting reason I can explain, the show would have been absolutely breathtakingly well received by every other straight white man that has a problem with it now if instead of Galadriel they made it Elrond's origin story.
100%.
Imagine Elrond going season
that.
1 hanging out with Doran and Disa, season 2 hanging out with Galadriel, and just world hopping, everything leading to the season 5 big battle that is the first 9 minutes of The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And it's a white male, straight presenting, great hair, hot British guy, if we're being totally honest. Like, there's a formula.
Probably gets a hot wife there somewhere. We've never seen his wife.
Like, when is that gonna take place? Because like
hopefully soon.
Yeah,
hopefully soon.
You're right, but I also hate that. And that's me being a straight white man. And here's my philosophy on fandom. And this goes back to Star Wars, goes back to anything. I'm tired of fucking seeing people like me get the spotlight.
Yeah,
like,
it's boring.
Does this Earth not have other people in it? Are we just gonna like imagine that other people of color don't exist?
Like, what other stories are we supposed to, so many white dudes are like, well, these are our stories, tell your own. Oh, okay, so if you let black people tell their own stories, are you going to watch those?
Are you gonna
Because black people have been having to watch your stuff for 100 years of film. Will you be reciprocating? Yeah. No? Shut the fuck up.
No,
everybody deserves to be in fantasy.
I agree. Yeah. And it's so insane, especially with Star Wars, though. Because it's like, we are going to fucking talk about representation when we have fucking aliens?
There's space wizards. There's space wizards, and they have to all be white. Are you kidding me?
To bring it back, they have music called... Hang on, I need Luke to keep his headphones on. Can you hear me without your headphones?
Oh, Frat Boy's coming out.
No, he can't.
It's not a good thing.
Dear. To bring it back to Chase's point, there is a genre in the Star Wars Legends canon called jizz, and it's what the Cantina band plays.
I learned this recently, and I'm mad about it.
You should be.
And Max Rebo, dude. Max Rebo hitting that jizz. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
No,
hitting
you can't.
That jizz.
Don't, please, guys. We are on a Lord of the Rings themed podcast. If we get any deeper into Star Wars,
all right, yeah, that's true.
My husband's a huge Star Wars nerd. He has been desperate for me to watch Clone Wars, and I just have. It's just one of those
undertaking.
Things while it wasn't my thing when it was on. I wasn't on that train when it was running, and there's just so much of it now.
Yeah,
it's like, oh fuck, I've got fandoms. My energy is in other places. I just haven't sat down and done it.
It's fine. Star Wars is at this point, and I'm not super into superheroes, but I'm just like, I have to watch how many shows and movies to understand who this. But nope, I'm good. I'm good.
And let's be
real.
I've seen Spider-Man is. That's all I need.
I've seen up to the end of phase 1, phase 2, and then I'm out. I'm good.
Yeah. And here's the thing: the Star Wars fandom is the worst fandom. I think we can all agree. And here's the
Sonic
thing:
the Hedgehog
you would have so much fun dunking on people in that fandom because it's so easy.
I have gone.
Easy. It literally
the other
writes
thing.
the jokes themselves.
in my wizened age, I think I have also graduated from dunking on people. That is not a
That's
good
true.
use of my energy, and these bitches are not going to change. And
That's
they've
true.
just like literally haters going to hate, and that sounds like a miserable way to live and an
Not
early way
wrong.
to die. So I'm out here having fun.
You're
I'm
not
gonna
wrong.
just keep doing that.
Same.
You're
And actually,
Which brings
Charlotte,
us back to what we were talking about.
which brings us back. Yes, sorry, Luke, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
That is
This is your
very much. No. I think
It's
we
it's
established the
Charlotte and we use
Charlotte's
Char's.
podcast.
Yeah.
Charlotte, we took over another thing. I'm sorry.
I'm like ass cancer, man. I just metastasize wherever I go.
Here's the thing. And Luke, I want you to know that this is no slight towards your podcast, but I did almost say no to coming on here.
I feel
But
that.
the reason was not because
I said yes without hesitation, Luke. Go on.
That is true. She did. But it was
In my
also because you were on. So I feel
That's
like
not correct. I
Like-
did not know that. Yeah, carry on, Don. Sorry.
Wow. Okay. So anyway, let's just say it's not lost on me that the conversation around Rings of Power season 2 is significantly different than season 1.
In
Because
what way?
season 1 in season 1 we didn't know anything, so the potential was unlimited. So the bar was set at 100. Well, now, because so many people were like, the bar is below, it's negative. And there's me crying on the trailer, getting Morvith Clark's attention so much so that she messages me on Instagram. Very fulfilling, by the way. Morvith Clark is a lovely woman and very kind.
Oh, yeah.
But like there's a spectrum of excitement. And now that we've all sort of tempered our expectations, people who think it's a garbage fire, they can stay down there with wherever Lil Nas X is still sliding down that pole for Call Me By Your Name. I'm going to remain roughly neutral in the middle with, hey, I hope this is a good TV show. And anything beyond that is not what I need in my life right now. There's too much else going on. Was I accused by a right-wing troll of embezzling $21,000 in the midst of the Rings of Power? Yes, I was.
What?
Did I show the receipt? Oh, do you not know
Oh,
this
yeah.
story?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, do you want
God.
some beef? You can publish this fully. It's all public record. I'll be nice
Are you
though.
serious?
So there is a gentleman by the name of Gary on YouTube who goes by
Fucking
Nerdrotic.
Gary.
And Gary
Oh!
has beef with me and anybody that went to London or enjoys Rings of Power. But
Or
for
probably
whatever
enjoys
reason,
anything.
well, I mean that too. He made his entire career off of Marvel being woke, and that's the only reason
Sounds like a
he's
miserable
alive.
person.
Plus funding by Peter Thiel, but that's not public record. Anyway, the long and short of it is I was accused of embezzling $21,000 by Nerdrotic, and it was at that moment when I showed the receipts on the TikTok that wound up going fairly viral, 500,000 views. I realized the negativity is not worth my time anymore.
Agreed.
Because I have the receipts and I'm going to enjoy what I'm going to enjoy. And the Rings of Power for me, yes, I know it's a 6.5 out of 10 show. I know the writing is not there where it needs to be, but the songs are fun. The landscapes are beautiful. The costumes are cute but dirty and lived in, just like Star Wars, that thing you all liked so much in the 70s. Just shut up and let me have fun. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And no joke, in the same way that Charlotte has talked about like recognizing hero's journey and all of the important themes within that, I ignore that and learn it along the way. And that's kind of how I'm approaching season 2, significantly different from season 1.
They're also having to do shorthand for really big allegories and represent them visually. Like, you know, the whole thing with like Galadriel diving off the boat seconds before getting to the Undying Lands, right? A thing that did not happen in the stories. At least, I mean, it's not written down.
No.
That's all fictive out of the imaginations of the show writers. It's still like
I'm trying
What?
I'm trying to find within the Silmarillion how much is of the book takes up Second Age, and like there's like 50 lines of dialogue for 3,000 years.
Yeah.
Of course you don't like Amazon's fan fiction. It's not J.R.R. Tolkien. Everybody calm down.
Like I think there's a healthy conversation to be had about whether they should have done the project without having full rights to the Silmarillion.
Agreed.
They hamstrung themselves from the beginning.
Yep.
Agreed.
It's also worth acknowledging that the Tolkien estate felt good enough about what they were doing as the show's production unfolded that they said, you know what? You can do some first age stuff. Show them the two trees. Show them Valinor. You can do some stuff in Valinor. We weren't going to let you, but now we are. You seem trustworthy. I think that's important.
Yeah.
And so doing stuff like inventing Galadriel's story as you go, they're still hitting the things that we're supposed to understand about the character in the books. When you read the Silmarillion Galadriel, even though she's in there for 5 seconds, if you take all of her appearances together, very different Galadriel than the one that you get in The Lord of the Rings. I don't know if there's any way to encapsulate all of that into books do not translate one-to-one to screen. Everybody who's ever adapted a written property into screen ever knows that you have to cut and consolidate, and that there are allegories within allegories, and that sometimes you have to, like, you look at a thing and you go, okay, what is this meant to represent? What am I supposed to get emotionally from it? What's the point of this little story? Does it dovetail with the point of that story in the book? Great. It did what it came here to do. So that's that point. In terms of like what I'm sort of hoping to see this season, this might get spoilery.
Are we predicting that? I don't think. All right. Go, because I might disagree.
Well, I just want to make sure, are people okay if like
we might cut this, but also, Luke, it is Charlotte's podcast.
Oh
now,
yeah, that's right. Forgot.
You don't really get a say. She's
hi, listeners. This is Charlotte Moore Lambert of Podmon's podcast. We're now entering the spoiler section of our program, so please listen away if you're afraid.
Dabby doo poo babu. I just felt like we were like in the Frasier.
Brought to you by Monday.com.
Anyway,
I would like to see if they get as far as the Fall of Numenor. I don't know if they will.
I see them doing Fall of Numenor season 3.
Great island you have there. Shame if something happened to it.
That's the thing.
Here's the thing, like, what the fuck is like if you saw me and Emily's reaction to the trailer. When that eagle comes in, I go, what the fuck is Gwyer doing?
Okay. It's first of all, there are many giant eagles. We don't know which one that is.
I know, but that was my first reaction.
My reaction is the eagle is bringing Alfarazon to greet his people. It appears you can see Alfarazon like dismount, and then there's a quick bit where he's like, what I said was, this motherfucker. This guy is the worst. Yeah. And the only thing is like this is one of the things about the writing of season 1 that I did enjoy is if you haven't read the Silmarillion or the Akalabeth, you don't really know what this guy's deal is and who he is. You might think he's not so bad a guy.
He's a fucking.
You might not know what the fuck this man is capable of, and not just in terms of like the whole of Numenor, but what he's about to do. Our rightful queen.
Here's the thing. Spoilers. Everybody's gonna die.
Yeah.
And the second age of Middle Earth. I have feelings. I have thoughts. I have feelings. I don't know how deeply I want to get into them right now. Suffice it to say, do you remember that guy who wrote the "What if the Star Wars prequels were good? I mean, really good"?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Luke knows, and I'm betting that a lot of people who listen to this podcast do. There's a world that exists where the perfect Lord of the Rings series happens. It starts in Numenor, and like Charlotte mentioned, our Farazan is the bad guy, and Elendil is the good guy, and our magical hero's journey guy is Elrond, and he travels to Numenor, and he imparts wise counsel like Obi-Wan, and then Elendil becomes our through line of humanity Here's the thing. I hope to God they're doing that, but I worry that they're going to do it with Isildur and
Anarion.
And Ishmael Cruz Cordova's character.
Arondir.
Right. So here's the thing. 2 hot, possibly bisexual men going off into the forest doing a bunch of cool battle stuff together. The fan fiction writes itself, honestly.
Sure.
And I think they're leaning into that to their detriment, because you don't need the 2 young twinks, you need the DILF.
No, agreed. No, absolutely agreed.
You need Elendil because, and no joke,
Elendil, man, they don't give that man enough screen time.
No,
and
he is
here's
a
the thing,
gorgeous
he
man.
knows that. Here's the thing. He knows that, though, because, and I'm fortunate enough, name drop, to have talked to him at Comic-Con 2 years ago, where he revealed, yes, people have come up to me and called me Ellen Dilf, or hey, is that Gil Gadaddy? Like, there are so many positive male figures that we can have.
This is
Pedro Pascal vibes, Diego Luna from Andor vibes,
Ewan McGregor.
Anything Oscar Isaac
and here's the thing,
has been in the
Aragorn
last 5
in the
years.
books is described. Sorry, Don, I didn't mean
No,
sorry,
please,
you're completely
keep
right
going.
to talk about DILFs. I just had a thought, and because of ADHD, if I don't say it, I'll forget it.
Go.
In the books, Aragorn is he's described as the descendant of Numenor who is most like Elendil. And I feel that the Elendil that we've gotten is the most Aragorn character. That, like, he just resonates. Ancestor of Aragorn. He has that thing.
He's so gorgeous. He's a
Okay,
gorgeous
you ready for this?
girl.
He's
gorgeous
so
girl.
dignified. There's a quietness about him.
May I translate for Gen Z, Charlotte?
You may.
My pronouns are he, not him, because I will never be him, and him is Elendil.
No, you're so spot on.
He is him.
And the fact that I like to compare him to a Star Wars character, he would be Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Of course.
He's got the flirty. He knows that he's hot shit, and that's why I want to do that crossover cosplay
I'm
of
loving
Elendil and Obi-Wan.
the Miriel Elendil energy. I like it.
Now hold on.
I like it.
Here's the thing. I like it too, but they did something that is very important that most people probably missed, because I am who I am. I know that this is probably what they are doing. Isildur has a family. He has a mother, a father, a brother. The sister is made up for the TV show, but she's going to be a human sacrifice in season 2 or 3, I guarantee you.
That is
yeah,
because like here's the thing, like this is
No, wait, let him finish his thought.
Yeah, finish.
Right, sorry, I won't finish. All right, I won't. Anyway,
Belabor.
Here's the thing. They without even like they definitely did this on purpose, but they did it so subtly that really only people like Charlotte and I will see it. They mentioned Anarion, Isildur's brother, and how there is a strained relationship between the two. So it is not lost on me that Elendil, excuse me, and Miriel are going to have some sort of connection, but, and this is spoilers for the Rings of Power for the rest of the series, because I think this is where this is going. I think the Elendil Miriel situation will be paralleled by the Miriel Pharazôn situation. We form a Jacob Edward Bella love triangle.
Whoa, time out.
Hang on. Okay, so I got too far. Let me reel it back in. Let me reel it back in.
Reel that in.
Let me reel it back
I
in.
don't know.
Let me reel
I
it
don't
back in.
see it.
It's interesting speculation.
We got an Éowyn, Arwen, and Aragorn
we
situation.
We don't, though, because...
But, no. If Éowyn decides to side with Wormtongue.
No, it's not that Éowyn
Charlotte,
would decide.
Charlotte,
That's
please
not
please.
it. It's because Pharazôn's going to take her by force. I mean, that's the whole point. He forces her to change. I mean, he does. In the Akalabeth, he doesn't let her keep her name. He changes her name.
Yeah.
To the new Numenorian
new nomenclature,
speech.
yes.
And not she right now in the series she's using her given elven name.
Folks, this is why it's important to have women on your podcast.
Bam.
In the canon of the Akalabeth, and of course they've consolidated a lot of timelines. Miriel is never queen. She's supposed to be the queen of Numenor, but her cousin Alpharazon usurps the throne through marriage, takes her by force, does not let her keep her name, does not let her keep her inheritance, and then becomes the king, and she becomes this sort of, her father is like considered sort of the last good king of Numenor. After him, they're like before her father, there are generations and generations of terrible kings.
Yep.
He's this sort of like one last member of the faithful who still honors the old ways and wants to, you know, be in communication with the elves. That ship, unfortunately, is long since sailed. They're cut off from Valinor, like literally and figuratively, both ways. And
she's a genius.
Pharazôn ultimately, like, once the good king dies, Pharazôn becomes the last king of Numenor and ruins it all.
What a dick.
By selling his soul to Sauron and doing
a little bit like if Trump gets reelected. Anyway,
doing human sacrifice and like doing terrible things all out of this fear of death.
Yeah.
Doing whatever they can to prolong their life. But it's not in any way that Muriel is like in love with him. They're not even, and it's even said by the laws of Numenor, kin that close do not marry.
No.
They're like first cousins.
Yeah.
And Pharazôn's like, well, sorry, you're my bride and I'm taking your throne and you don't get to hold the scepter anymore. That's the other thing. If bros want to be real mad, go back to the lore. Women hold the scepter of Numenor. There have been several queens of Numenor when there is no male heir. And that was because of a feminist way in the beyond times of Numenor who was so good at womaning. Her dad was like, you know what? I'm going to change the laws so you can become queen.
She girl bossed.
Real hard.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Love it.
So,
no. Okay.
Anyway, that's our women podcast.
I don't think there's going to be a love triangle, Don.
No, I agree. Okay, but like, here's the other thing though, because you have to remember, she specifically asks who Elendil is to Pharazôn in the first season. They make it a point. Yeah, she goes, "Who is that?" And he says, "His name is Elendil. It's a noble name," and it's that slow shot of him walking away.
Oh, I kind of remember that now.
I feel like if they were to do that, it's kind of a bait and switch. My thing is
in the Rings of Power?
No. But like, here's the other thing with the brother. Here's my question. We're gonna get off a tangent here. Do we think we're going to see him get crushed by a rock? That's the most important thing here.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Isildur's brother gets crushed by a rock in the final battle. Does he not?
Does he?
Doesn't he?
What are you talking about?
Anarion?
Anarion?
Yeah.
How does Anarion go out?
Anarion, if I'm making this up, but I'm pretty sure he gets pummeled by a rock.
I think you're thinking of Giles Corey in the Crucible.
Great SNL sketch, by the way. Hang on. Anarion was slayed in the Second Age, 3,440, when a stone cast from Barad-dûr, either from falling debris or a catapult,
by catapult,
struck him.
Oh, absolutely.
Easily.
I just wanted to say another spoilery thing.
Okay,
please.
Go ahead.
This is a spoiler thing. Celebrimbor.
Oh yeah.
Do we think this is the season?
Oh yeah, I think Region.
We got that shot of Sauron. I didn't realize until I was rewatching the trailer right before this. There's that they show him like bathed in light, and he sees Sauron like stepping out of light, and you can see that the figure of Sauron makes up the pupil of an eye, and I was like, oh, buddy.
Yeah. I think Aurelion is more likely to. I think this is what I think is probably going to happen moving forward. Aurelion is going to be this season's downfall, and I think Numenor will be next season, and then we'll get into them creating Osgiliath, Minas Ithil, Minas Arnor, and
you're right.
Yeah, like they're gonna. That's season 4, and then we get the conflict of season 5 with the big, obviously coming together. My thing is that I don't think they're going to. I don't bringing it back to Numenor because I've been on this for a little bit. I don't think she's gonna She's gonna be part of obviously Pharazôn, like the sister. She's gonna be part of Pharazôn's thing, like part of that group. But she's not going to. She's not going to be a sacrifice. At the last moment, she's going to come back. Because she is an architect, Remember, she is going to help
Mhm.
build. She's going to help build Minas Ithil. She's going to help build all of these things, and that's going to be her. Not like a
I
contribution.
don't know.
That's-
What if?
But it
Luke,
would make
Luke,
more better,
Luke,
or more drama.
Luke.
No. That's interesting. No, that's really interesting. I mean, that would be interesting if they do that. I don't know that character.
She dead.
I
God
think
dang it,
she's.
Dad.
I
She's
think
so
she's
dead.
grist for the mill. I think
She's so
if
dead.
anything, what if her powers are co-opted? That she has an unwitting role in playing the design of the very temple in which she is killed.
That's poetry. It rhymes just like how George Lucas says it all the time. It's poetry. It rhymes. Like it's
Poetry rhymed before George Lucas said it did, Luke.
Or I'm wrong. They're not getting to any of that this season, and I've just given the writers a free idea. I don't know.
First of all, they're not taking your ideas. They're taking,
Why wouldn't they take my ideas? My ideas aren't
because
good.
you haven't been asked to consult on the show.
That doesn't mean they're not going to steal stuff.
Wow. Why you got to throw that in our faces, sir?
I'm just saying. I'm calling them thieves.
Amazon
thieves.
stealing things? No,
but like
never.
Here's my thing, and we'll kind of get back. This will be towards the. We'll start wrapping this up.
We'll bring it back to the end of the podcast.
So I think obviously Aurigion's gone. Celebrimbor is going to get absolutely murked. I don't know what's going on in Moria. Like we haven't even touched on that, and I think I think that is
you want 15 seconds. You want 15 seconds. You want 15 seconds.
Don't tell me Balrog.
What else would it be, Luke?
But like
no, what else would it be? Tell me what else it would be.
I don't know.
Exactly. It's Balrog. No, it's Balrog. Here's the thing. Disa, lovable first season character, Lady Macbeth by season 4. Moria is gone.
She's gonna die?
Yeah. She's absolute. Here's the thing.
No.
Here's the thing.
Don't rip my
Doran's father is going to get tempted by one of those rings, and there's going to be some other shapeshifter bullshit where you realize it's been Sauron. Though again, this is all conjecture. I'm guessing. But if I turn out to be right, it just turns out that Amazon did a good job because you have Doran's dad getting tempted by one of the rings. Oh my god, what's going to happen? Well, Disa is also going to get tempted by one of the rings because, of course,
that's interesting.
Lady Macbeth needs to do her thing, but then in the same way, young
she is
Doran,
Lady Macbeth, isn't
yes, she is. Go back and watch season 1. She's Lady Macbeth.
No, she's pulling the strings.
You post that to TikTok right now.
No.
Word to your mother. Yeah.
Disa is not Lady Macbeth. And if she is, you know what? If she is, she's right.
Yeah,
Lady Macbeth was a hero.
That's incredible.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just saying that a world run by a black female dwarf in Middle-earth, it's possible, but I'm telling you right now, they're not going to do it. They're going to make you think she's right through the whole way. She's going to say, this is all for the good of Moria. Look at what the elves are doing. Look at how horrible the humans are. We need the dwarves to be the power of Middle-earth. And then Balrog shows up and everybody dies. You want tragedy in season 4 before the final last alliance of elves and men? Why isn't it the last alliance of elves and men and dwarves? Because all the dwarves are dead.
All dead. They were all
You know what? That makes sense though, because
I know.
you're missing season 4's big tragedy. It would like season so like
scouring of the dwarves.
Because if we get Eregion this season, we get Numenor next season, then season 4 would have
That
to be the
leaves-
Balrog. That's why I don't think it's the Balrog this soon, though, Dawn.
No, I don't think that it's the Balrog this
I
soon.
don't
I
think
think
it's
they've
Balrog.
set that up, and they've literally
it's a vision.
No, I don't think it's a vision. I think it is foreshadowing, but I think they have very deliberately bricked that back in. They're like, he's way down there. We've all seen it. Now we're gonna put it behind this wall and forget about it.
It's the Cask of Amontillado, but significantly more literary. Thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, she knows. It's an Edgar Allan Poe story where someone buries an arch rival behind a wall.
I saw the show.
Yes, there was a show.
The Netflix show.
Yeah.
My fiance is a huge Edgar Allan Poe fan, so we watched that, and
She sounds like a smart lady. This one.
she is. I mean, is she smart?
She actually owns
For
this
saying
podcast,
yes.
Charlotte.
Oh.
Is she smart in marrying me? I keep telling her she hitched the wagon to the wrong horse. and she just doesn't want to listen to me.
You know, I too married a man, and
To your detriment. No, I'm kidding. Your husband is a lovely man and has done wonderful things. That being said, I feel as though there is a generation of bisexual ladies who, given the time and place, would have absolutely gone for women. If not.
Aaron
Anyway,
and I both understand very clearly that in the inevitable event that he precedes me in death, I will be marrying a woman next
Good
time.
for you.
And he was like,
Yeah.
please, he was like, if you don't marry a woman or just like the hottest himbo you've ever seen, I will be very disappointed in you.
And if it's not
Who's the
Pedro
hottest
Pascal,
himbo you've ever seen?
Pedro
I don't know.
Pascal.
I haven't met him yet.
It's Pedro Pascal.
Oh, that's fair.
I don't think Pedro
No,
Pascal.
Pedro Pascal's not a himbo.
No.
Pedro Pascal's golden retriever gamer boy energy. Himbo is more like a Liam Hemsworth because he just shows up and he's happy to be here, but he's never like the leading man unless you're in that one Miley Cyrus romantic comedy from 2013. Anyway, we've gotten so far off track. I don't remember
it's
what we
great.
And
were
I
talking
do have
about.
to at some point go do things.
Yeah, Chase, take us home.
Yeah, Chase.
Okay, I will. I'm not going to let you guys go just yet, but
We could pontificate endlessly.
to keep it on the track of Rings of Power, what do you think season 1 did really well, and what do you hope that will continue in season 2? Because from my perspective, I think it did. I don't have the knowledge that you guys have, but I really liked the ensemble cast. Every pocket story in Rings of Power, I really enjoyed. That was its biggest strength for me, is that there was no little pocket story that I was like, we're back here again. I don't want to be here. I was from the Harfoots to Disa to Galadriel, like everyone that had something to say, I really, really enjoyed it. So
I'm
what
delighted to hear that.
Yeah. So what are your, maybe for your closing thoughts, let's call it that. The thing that you thought Rings of Power did super well in season 1 that you hope it continues into season 2. Not like, oh, I hope that so-and-so gets their so-and-so. What aspect do you want to see continue from season 1?
Making me think. And I appreciate you, Chase. Thank you.
There are a lot of things that I thought that they did really well that I would like to see continue. If I have to pick one, it'd be difficult to pick. The one that I want to pick is the one that we're not going to get, because Gandalf's, the building of Gandalf's relationship with the hobbits.
Ooh,
Because he's gone on a journey now. He's away from that society.
But he's with a hobbit.
He's with a single one, but he's not participating in it the way that he's immersed in it in a later age.
That's
But
fair.
I do think that his character development is going to be interesting. The finding not of his wizardness but his humanity will
Which
be
is the whole point of
compelling.
why Gandalf goes to the Shire.
That's the whole
is
point of
to make-
Gandalf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
In knowing too much about the lore and the insider knowledge of how television shows work, Nori, the Hobbit / Halfling / Harfoot character that is going to be traveling with the stranger,
Don't
which is
say
probably Gandalf.
Don't say it.
Well, no. She is the representation of the Shire. She
Okay,
is the Frodo Baggins of the story.
Yes.
I thought you said that
She
she was going to
beco-
die. I was like, no, can't.
No, I don't think she
No.
will. No, I think she's
I,
safe.
no, I would
No.
literally have a mental breakdown if Poppy dies. If anything happens to Poppy, I will literally, you won't hear from me. Cause like literally, like Poppy, like my fiance, that's Poppy. Like when I see Poppy, I'm like, huh,
The actress that plays
she's lovely.
Poppy, it's Megan Kavanaugh. Or excuse me, she plays
You don't get
Poppy.
to finish this thought. You have to go back to the incomplete thought that you had, in
Right.
which you were talking about knowledge that you have.
Very well.
Sorry.
It is Megan Richards, by the way, that plays Poppy Proudfellow, whose entire family is dead and had more of a story arc in one sentence from reading her names in that book than most of the other characters, and it was beautifully done. And that brings me back to the point. Rings of Power Season 1 had beautiful moments. When I think about the YouTube clips of the perfectly Tolkien-esque moments of the Rings of Power, it's scenes like that. It's scenes like the stranger saying, "Follow your nose." It's Elendil and Isildur having a dad and son conversation. It's Galadriel talking to a random kid about, oh my God, I used to be so different and now I'm this and I want to go back to that. There are these beautiful quintessential moments that describe Tolkien perfectly. Unfortunately, that did not lead to a cohesive storyline, but it made for beautiful moments. So I'm hoping that those beautiful moments can sort of mesh. The characters are combining their forces together. Galadriel is with Elrond. Ishmael Cruz Cordova is with Maxim Baldry. Their names escape me at the moment.
Arondir.
And Isildur. Sorry, all of those are together. I know a little bit of insider baseball in that Nazanin Boniadi, the actress who played Bronwyn, is no longer going to be a part of the show because she has taken her sort of role as an activist and is doing that now full time for the liberation of the people of Iran. So there's not really a bad way to say, I wish she would come back. Good for Nazanin Boniadi. If Bronwyn needs to die and further the story, I hope they work it in a well-paced way.
For Arondir's storyline.
Oh, yeah, because if Arondir loses the love of his life, episode 1, suddenly that becomes a much more compelling character.
He's talked about that. He's already openly talked about how dark this season is for his character.
It's not a secret that Ismael Cruz Cordova is going to be playing a much angrier elf, and because you can't have a human elf relationship outside of the occasional flirting, because Tolkien very specifically wrote various things.
That could not be.
Could not be. So as soon as I saw it, I went, "Oh, Romeo and Juliet.
This one's
they're
done.
dead.
They're screwed."
Yep. And that
Baron and Luke.
Especially with her, she's got a little monologue where she's like, maybe we could be one of the pairs that make it. And it's like, oh, you said it out loud. You're done.
Yep. Some casual flirting and then an immediate death. I will predict, you can quote me on this. Post this to TikTok if you feel so inclined.
Keep telling him what to post to TikTok. Luke, post whatever the fuck you want to your TikTok. Don, you post whatever the fuck you want to your TikTok.
Shut up, Charlotte. Anyway, that's my comeback whenever Charlotte has outsmarted me and I don't know what else to say.
It's the only the only thing.
Oh, what tangled webs we weave.
Oh, webs, you know all about those. Anyway, we're wrapping up on final thoughts, I think. At least that's what I told my brain a few minutes ago. The Rings of Power is fine. Everyone calm down. Season 2 is going to be fun if you stop being so butthurt about the fact that it's fan fiction. There's like less than 100 pages of story for the Second Age, and these people are writing 50 hours worth of dialogue.
Yeah,
calm down.
Be a little more calm, fucking Bombadil, gentlemen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That guy's having fun no matter where he is.
And he's
CTFD. Oh, and that's our show, everybody. Thank you so much for toking it up here on the Podwans, an exclusively Star Wars podcast.
Why are we here?
No idea.
Because I branched out 2 years ago and we started talking about things that I actually wanted to talk about instead of just Star Wars. Because Star Wars doesn't help the algorithm. So
I'm very happy that you've done that.
But anyway,
we did it.
With that, thank you, Dawn, for doing that conclusion.
It's a pleasure running your podcast for you, Luke.
Who's running this? Is it you or me? Decide.
See, this is the problem. I don't know who is running it anymore.
No, I'm asking Don because he keeps saying it's mine, and then he keeps telling you which clips to use. Look at this bitch.
Not my circus, not my monkeys. Goodbye.
Well, Charlotte, thank you so much for coming on to the Podwans podcast. Where can we find you on the internet so people could come to see your content?
You can find me primarily on TikTok as Cavatica. That's Cavatica, though I am also on Bluesky and Instagram. It's Blue Sky. The new Twitter, the new gayer Twitter, and Instagram is Cavatica.
Don't we need like permissions to use that?
No, Blue Sky is open to everyone now. Come on over. I'm doing another thing. It's called Roll for Initiative. It's a charity TTRPG that I'm doing with Forrest Valkai, renegade science teacher. Katiosaurus, Amelia Sam, my friend KP, and Jesse Jerdak is the DM. He's amazing. It airs right now once a week on Forrest Valkai's YouTube channel. And we're playing Tales of the Valiant from Kobold Press. And it has some of the most incredible set pieces that you all have ever seen in a TTRPG like actual play. It's gorgeous, and it benefits Doctors Without Borders.
That's awesome. We love that. We love that. We love that.
So
Right.
that's me.
Dawn,
And
where can we? I was gonna say, Dawn, where can we
also
find
the
you
Unpredicted
on the
Party, but
internet,
I'll
or
let
should we just go
Dawn
to
do it.
Ninja's channel on Twitch to watch you play Fortnite?
Thank you so much for having me. I'll see you all later. That's first of all, it's Apex Legends, not Fortnite.
I'm out of the loop on your content. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't actually stream it because I need some me time. Anyway, my name is Don Marshall. I go by the obscure Lord of the Rings facts guy, a nickname that I was given, not created. And if you want to find more of my content,
you seem so happy to be telling people about it.
The Rings of Power Season 2 has changed me in a way that only therapy can
even
work
aired
with.
yet.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing.
Is this where we get the confirmation? Is this where he signs his life away? Is this the moment? Is this happening?
I don't know. I don't know what you think he's going to say, but I would like to hear him say it.
What moment are you looking for? But no. I just stopped giving a fuck.
Put
you
that
can
on
bleep that
t-shirt.
and post.
No.
But he's still, but the energy that you're giving, but you are still very delightful on TikTok, and people should follow you as Don Marshall 72 on TikTok, and follow your YouTube channel at Don Marshall 72. So that's where they can find The Unpredicted Party, which is a show that I'm on, playing Tariel, a character that everybody hates when they watch The Hobbit, and they're wrong, and it's not her fault. But she's doing her best, and we're all just living in Dawn's fanfic, having a great time. And I know by the time this airs, NocoCon will have passed. But this coming weekend, or next weekend, Dawn and the rest of the Unpredicted Party and I are going to be doing our first live show at NocoCon. It's going to be delightful. We're going to have a wonderful time, and people love you, Dawn. You have a lot to be happy about.
Thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I've been your host, Don Marshall. Please join my guests next time, whenever the hell I decide to come back to this.
He's coming back, guys. We got the big fish. We got him.
Luke, you have my cell phone number, and if I block you, you have the potential to send a bunch of angry Star Wars fans after me.
No,
contractually, I'm obliged to be your friend. No, I'm kidding.
Don.
You're a delight. You have more energy as a golden retriever gamer boy than I ever will, and I respect you for it. Keep the positivity flowing. Continue this podcast. Continue spreading the love. Hats off to Chase for being legitimately one of the funniest people I've ever met. And also, I don't know what your tattoo arm sleeve was, but the fact that it is legitimately all covered up is badass as hell. Respect.
Chase, where can good people follow you on the social medias?
You can find me on TikTok and Twitch at Forward Into the Black.
And on here.
And here every Thursday-ish day.
No, it's Friday.
Friday-ish.
We're in an anomaly. We're in the black hole. You can find me at the Jedi Master Eggs on all social medias. That's my second account. So if anybody wants to follow me there, they can. You can follow us at the Podblunds, where we sporadically post reactions. We will, by this point, we will have been done with House of the Dragon. Hopefully that does well, because that seems to do well for us.
Another thing to talk about.
Yeah. Ooh, Charlotte.
I'm pretty deep. I'm pretty deep in the GRRM lore as well.
Hey, Charlotte.
Hey.
Do I have an interesting thing for you?
Oh, dear God.
And the Acolyte will be out by then as well. If you're looking for a new show that has a lot of representation for LGBTQ plus and BIPOC and all of that in Star Wars, there's your show. Love it. It's awesome. It's gonna be great. So check out our reactions there, and Rings of Power reactions, and maybe a show or two. Who knows? We'll have to see. You can follow all these amazing people. This has been amazing. And until next time, we are all the One Ring. I don't know.